Part 104. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1044. Looking coldly at the golden-winged rock tens of thousands of feet away, shrouded in infinite golden light, Zhang Shinian suddenly threw his whip. The fingers in the hands change like the wind. Qinkan suppresses demons. Chubian's spiritual light surged and turned into a giant 1,000,000 feet in an instant. His wooden whip was made from hollow willow branches given by his teacher. It was not only strong and fine steel, but also contained the infinite magical power of green wood. The 9-segment giant whip, which is like an Optimus pillar, contains an explosion of spatial spiritual power, and seems to penetrate the space when it is swung. It arrived in front of me like lightning. The golden-winged rock was shocked and quickly brushed its tail feathers. Boom! Ga! The tragic bird song resounded throughout the world. But he saw the sky holding wooden whip, suppressing the 2 black and white tail feathers, and hit the golden-winged rock heavily on the back. In an instant, the skin was torn open and blood was flowing. The golden-winged rock seemed to have broken wings and fell headfirst to the ground. When he was about to land, his wings flapped and he flew straight into the distance. Damn humans, I, Jinpeng, will remember you. When I recover from my injuries, I will definitely devour more humans. Zhang Shinian stared at it coldly and did not chase it. You have no chance. When the sound reached his ears, Jinpeng's heart moved. He suddenly felt that his flesh and bones were as soft as flesh, and the demonic energy in his body became sluggish. Instant enlightenment. Plague. The whip just now was an open attack by Zhang Shinian, while the Plague Emperor's Taoist banner was an attack in the dark. Although it is not as strong and powerful as Chu Pen, its power is not bad at all. He was injured by the powerful and heavy whip of Chu, and was also invaded by the silent poison that moistened things and invaded his lungs. Now it happened suddenly and I was hit hard immediately. Seeing the golden-winged rock falling from mid-air as its momentum declined, Zhang Shinian raised his whip and struck it straight at the head of the golden rock. Chu Bian, who is powerful and heavy, is also incredibly fast due to the space spirit tree. It came to the sky above Jinpeng's head like lightning. Feeling the tyrannical wind pressure and the pressing evil aura, the latter instantly felt the despair of approaching death. Mother, help! Buzz! An invisible tremor spread instantly from Jinpeng's dantian. The golden-red talisman, carrying a tyrannical pressure, soared into the sky and turned into a 5-color phoenix in the blink of an eye. Although this colorful phoenix is only about 10,000 feet long, its pressure is 10,000 times greater than that of the golden-winged rock. Call out! The melodious phoenix call shook hundreds of millions of miles. Thousands of birds responded in harmony, and the blue sky kept singing. The phoenix eyes with endless majesty looked directly at Zhang Shinian, and the powerful pressure made his expression solemn. Hunyuan mighty. Human race, just retreat. I will let bygones be bygones. The voice of a middle-aged woman full of majesty rang in Zhang Shinian's ears. Mother! Shut up! After giving the golden-winged rock a hard look, his eyes turned to Zhang Shinian. Take a deep breath. The golden-winged rock has devoured tens of millions of members of our human race. It is a grave sin. I am the Dai Huang, the founder of the Phoenix clan. I have suppressed Tianese forever since ancient times. Today's matter has been revealed, and you can gain the friendship of my Phoenix clan. There are 2 ancestors of the Phoenix clan, one of whom is Tianfeng, who fell in the ancient war between thousands of clans. One is the Earth Phoenix, who will suppress the ancient Tianese forever. Of course, Dai Huang calls himself a monk from the ancient world and is used to calling him the Holy Suzaku. Although his strength is not as good as that of a saint, he has accumulated boundless merits by suppressing Tianese and maintaining the stability of the ancient land. It was precisely because of his profound merits that she could feel the strong merits of Zhang Shinian. That's why she's so verbose. Otherwise, he would have been slapped to death long ago. I have heard for a long time that the Holy Lord Tianese Zuk is a powerful person, but now it seems that he is just a selfish person. Looking at Dai Huang's increasingly gloomy face, I don't care about the friendship of the Phoenix clan, and I will definitely kill this golden person Winged Dapen, avenge the deaths of my human tribe. Ignorant Junior. If I hadn't seen how much merit you have, I would have killed you on the spot. Anyway, since you don't know how to praise me, and I am trying my best to waste your merit, I can send your soul back to the underworld today. The huge mouth opened, and golden red phoenix fire flew out overwhelmingly. The scorching heat seemed to ignite everything. Facing this domineering boundless sea of fire, Zhang Shinian looked solemn. Don't panic, I have everything. Master. Zhang Shinian was happy and at peace in his heart. Su Junming was in mid-air, with a thick space barrier covering his body, blocking out prying eyes. Opening his left palm, a pair of black wings emerged. It is the Black God Sword wings. Now it is a medium-grade Hunyuan Lingbao with 5 restrictions. I've been keeping you forever, and today I finally have a use for you. Activate the Talisman of Creation in Danshan. The Body of Creation. A mysterious rhythm enveloped the Black God Sword wings, and gradually, Su Junming emerged, wearing a black robe, with sword intent rising to the sky and surrounded by Sun Wind. Compared to Su Junming himself, the aura of the Black God Sword wings is much sharper. And this is the great magical power of the Tao of Creation, the Body of Creation, after he understood the Tao of Creation to the realm of Hunyuan. Turn any spiritual roots and spiritual treasures that do not exceed the realm of creation into a Dharma body to help you fight. In more than 40 million years, Taoist Tiangong has understood the Tao of creation to the realm of Hunyuan true immortal, and the Black God Sword wings are just right for it. In fact, Su Junming would rather use the Dushan God Demon flag, but the ancestral witch is too eye-catching. Before you have enough strength, it is better to play it safe. Shua. 2 black iron-winged phantoms unfolded from the back of the black-robed Su Junming. The wings shook, and the 2 soaring sword energies tore through the void, like the Milky Way falling from the sky, overwhelming the sky and slashing towards the sea of fire. Boom! The surging sea of fire was instantly cut through. The fierce sword energy instantly wiped out the phoenix spirit in the flames. The sea of fire that lost its guidance once again turned into flame aura and dissipated invisible. Looking at the black-robed sword cultivator with soaring sword intent, Dai Huang was shocked in his heart. Hunyuan true immortal. Who is your excellency? Do we have any grudges? You are going to kill my disciples, and you still ask us what we have a grudge against. Su Junming's figure appeared next to Zhang Shinian. The body of creation allows the monk himself to have the ability of the Hunyuan realm with the help of magic weapons, but it is just a puppet. If you want to kill a powerful enemy, you still need Su Junming's own soul to take charge. Master. Zhang Shinian was excited and bowed to salute. It seems that you have not fallen behind in cultivation these years, and you have become a Deluo Jinxian. Disciples will never forget Master's teachings and never dare to slacken in practice. Very well. Just step aside. Yes. Turning to look at Dai Huang. Look at the Hunyuan sword cultivator with his sword aura rising into the sky in mid-air, and then look at the green-robed Taoist priest who can't tell the difference. Dai Huang, whose heart was heavy, said helplessly, "Fellow Taoist, I have no intention of becoming your enemy. Please, for my sake, spare my child's life. You already want to kill my disciple, but you still say you have no intention of becoming my enemy. Until it can no longer be good. What do you think, fellow Taoist? I can let your son go." Huh? What? Dai Huang's face was full of astonishment. She was ready to fight to the death, but she didn't expect a sudden turn of events. Zhang Shinian felt anxious and was about to speak, but when the words reached his lips, he swallowed them back. He understands Master and will never allow evil people to run rampant. I can let your son go. However, you have to exchange 3 drops of Tianfeng essence and blood. In the ancient times, the Sky Phoenix was the male and the Earth Phoenix was the female. They were both powerful men at the level of Hunyuan Xianxian, and they were also transformed into Pangu's body. Later, during the war between thousands of tribes, Tianfeng and Zilong died together, and Earth Phoenix was seriously injured. He led the remaining Phoenix tribe to guard Tianese for generations, in order to stabilize the merits of the ancient land and eliminate the cause and effect caused by the Phoenix tribe killing all souls and destroying the ancient land. Tianfeng essence and blood. Dai Huang was shocked. That's right. Pandeo calculated that this thing still exists in your Phoenix clan. In fact, Earth Phoenix's essence and blood would also work, but Earth Phoenix is not a fool. How could he give his essence and blood to others? What if he is cursed? Although his strength is high, he still has to guard against it. Fellow Taoist, your calculations were wrong. Tianfeng died as early as the ancient times, and his body turned into the southern wilderness volcano, with no essence or blood left in the world. If Tianfeng's essence and blood are not available, Taoist friends can use their own essence and blood to save the sun. Fellow Taoist, this is forcing others to make things difficult, Dai Huang said angrily. I have put forward the conditions. If my fellow Taoist does not agree, let your son be buried with the dead humans. Sharp Phoenix eyes stared at the other party. Although I guard the southern wilderness volcano, I can't leave for a while. Smile calmly. Although you are strong, since I dare to stand here, I am not afraid of you seeking revenge. The Earth Phoenix suppressed the southern wilderness volcano. It was powerful and had the strength of the Hunyuan Xianxian, but it was far inferior to the saint. Su Junming was sitting in the Dushan gods and demons formation, so he really wasn't afraid of her. The two people's eyes met, and after a while, Dai Huang said in a deep voice. I only have 1 drop of Tianfeng essence and blood. Although it's a little less, I don't want to have too much of a quarrel with the Phoenix clan. Let's just take it 1 drop at a time. A drop of essence and blood can be used as a guide, which is enough to worship the demon flag of Dushan God. So his original goal was just a drop. You must make an oath with your Taoist heart and let my child go. Can. Su Junming made a vow. The higher the cultivation level, the stronger the binding force of making an oath made with the Tao heart. Because the heart of the Tao is more and more aligned with the Tao, once it is disobeyed, it is easy to breed inner demons. When Hunyuan monks go through tribulations, what they fear most is their inner demons. The Earth Phoenix's whole body shone brightly, and a deep spatial fluctuation spread out. As soon as he opened his mouth and spat out, a red gourd flew straight towards Su Junming. The gourd is covered with charms, and you can feel the powerful sealing power on it without using your spiritual consciousness. Su Junming did not open it and activated the Dian mirror. You can see that in the gourd, there is a red drop of blood essence with a diameter of 100,000 feet. The surging life essence has not been consumed by the passage of time, and it is obviously well maintained by the Earth Phoenix. You don't know the Phoenix clan, are you still thinking of resurrecting Tianfeng? An idea that surprised him arose from the bottom of Su Junming's heart. He shook his head secretly. Regardless of whether it was true or not, his goal was achieved. Put away the gourd. With a thought in his heart, 2 illusory sword wings appeared behind the black-robed Su Junming, slashing down in the air. The vast sword energy, like the Yangtze River, slashed straight towards the Earth Phoenix. Thanks to book friend 150829092036897 for the 500 starting coin reward. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1045. You went back on your word. Dai Huang was furious and quickly activated his magic power to resist the sword energy. At this moment, the void suddenly opened, and a giant hand that was not full of scales stretched out from it like lightning, grabbed the 2 black and white tail feathers on Jinpeng's back, and pulled hard. With the screams of the golden-winged roc, it was immediately withdrawn. My son. Earth Phoenix's eyes turned red instantly, and the overwhelming Phoenix true fire turned into a sea of fire that filled the sky, crushing towards the surroundings crazily. Even the solid space began to tremble under the domineering real fire, as if it would melt in the next second. Phoenix feathers. A tail feather that was tens of millions of feet high and flashed with strange light of 5 colors, like a pillar of heaven tilting upside down, swept straight towards Su Junming with boundless fire. Wherever it passed, the space shattered, leaving a black scar. Su Junming formed a seal with his hands. Black God Slash. The sword wings pointed straight upward, and the vast sword light condensed into a huge sword with an ancient style, facing Feng Ling. It was like 2 giant pillars, seemingly slow but actually fast, crashing into each other. Boom! Billions of miles of void trembled violently. 100 times more intense than Mars hitting the Earth. The disintegrated sword energy and broken true fire spread crazily around. Su Junming waved his sleeves to block the aftermath for his disciples. Thousands of miles away, Dai Huang met him with angry eyes. After realizing that his son's life was not in danger, he stopped. What do you mean? Your son devoured nearly 10 million of my human race. Although I got the essence and blood of Tianfeng, I promised to spare his life. But the karma of those human races he swallowed must be repaid. These 2 tail feathers contain the contents of my human race. My soul cannot be taken away by you. You can keep the human soul in the divine light, but you must give me the 2 tail feathers. Ha, impossible. You. The situation was stronger than the person, so he glared at him fiercely. This matter won't be settled like this. Lock up your unfilial son. If he dares to devour the human race again in the future, I will kill him even if you lose your life. The sharp gaze was like 2 razors, directed towards the Earth Phoenix and the golden-winged Dapen. The latter saw it and trembled in his heart. He snorted coldly. He rolled up the golden-winged roc and turned it into a ray of divine light, flying straight towards the southern wilderness. Master! Zhang Shinian flew over quickly. Where's the scalper? I am keeping you in the cave for the time being. Nodded. Stay back, I will resurrect these humans, which can be regarded as repaying the cause and effect. The right palm spreads out, and 2 tail feathers, one black and one white, emerge. It has to be said that Tianfeng and Dai Huang spent a lot of money for their 2 sons. In his eldest son, he planted a primordial innate qi of the 5 elements, which made Kong Xian's 5-color divine light famous for everything during the period of becoming a god. In his second son's place, a primordial innate yin and yang fundamental energy was planted. It's a pity that golden-winged Dapen didn't have Kong Xian's opportunity, let alone his determination. Born early, this primordial innate yin and yang fundamental energy has not yet been transformed into innate supernatural powers. What's even more stupid is that it actually collects human souls to fill it up, in order to strengthen the yin qi and increase its power. On the surface, the power is indeed much stronger, but it loses its purity. Fortunately, the foundation is intact. Grab the black tail feather and flick it hard. The souls were separated from it and fell into the space of the palm. He stretched out his hand to grab it, summoned the spiritual water from the creation spirit pond, and sprinkled it out casually. The originally illusory soul gradually solidified and turned into a real body. With Su Junming's current cultivation level, it would not take many years to resurrect tens of thousands of mortals. Grandpa, we are alive. Mother, I'm hungry. That's great, Mr. Lang. The noisy tone was filled with the joy of new life. Looking at Su Junming, who looked like a giant in mid-air. Thank you, Immortal, for saving your life. Everyone knelt down. You don't have to be polite, just live a good life in the future. Stone Year. Master. It's up to you to send these people back to their hometowns. Disciple, obey. After nodding slightly, stretch out your right hand. Zhang Shinian did as he was told. Su Junming used his hand as a pen and drew a space divine pattern on his palm. Then transfer the person in the palm. Reach out and make a move. The black god sword wing instantly transformed into its original form. Now that you are a Delugo Jinxian, you have enough cultivation to activate the Hunyuan spiritual treasure. Today, my master will give you these black god sword wings to protect you. Looking at the pair of black wings that his master handed to him, Zhang Shinian, who had just witnessed its power, was flattered. Master, this is your precious treasure, how can I accept it? Of course I have stronger treasures as a teacher, and this was originally prepared for you. In addition, compared to what you have discovered, the treasures in your hand are okay against Delugo Jinxian, but they are much worse against Hunyuan. Although it is good to have a nest, it is more about protection. The offensive power is too weak. This black god sword wing can make up for your shortcomings. The natal spiritual root and the innate gourd vine continue to grow. Except for the martial arts gourd flower, the 11 gourds are all Hunyuan spiritual treasures. Especially the good fortune gourd, Tiangong gourd and space gourd are middle grade Hunyuan Lingbao. Moreover, it is more suitable for displaying the great magical power of body of creation than the black god sword wings. Don't act like a child. It's just a middle grade Hunyuan spiritual treasure. As long as the materials are suitable, it will take 1,000 years of training to refine one. Zhang Shinian was shocked and took it respectfully. Disciple, thank you teacher for the gift. Practice well, treat illnesses and save people well, and accumulate more merits are the best rewards for me. Yes. Go ahead. After nodding, Master, after I send these humans back home, where will I find you? Haha, the young eagle always spreads its wings. I have given you everything I can teach you. The rest is up to you to find the answer yourself. Scalper, just let him follow you. The voice curled up, and the figure disappeared. Zhang Shinian bowed deeply towards the direction where the voice disappeared, and then left. Returning to Chongshan residence, he activated the innate gourd vine, and with a wave of his hand, the Taoist innate yin and yang fundamental energy obtained from the golden winged rock flew into the yin and yang gourd. With this innate energy, it is enough for the latter to grow into the best Hunyuan Lingbao. There is no need to invest resources in the space gourd, yin-yang gourd, and martial arts gourd in the future. Looking at the remaining 9 gourds, he shook his head slightly. They were all big users of spiritual energy. Putting away the gourd vine, he patted the green gourd on his waist, and a spiritual light flew out, and turned into a white sacred flag about a foot high, windless, and automatic. Take out the red gourd just now, crush it into pieces, and throw it into the sacred flag. Boom! Flames exploded. The melodious phoenix chirped soaring into the sky. A divine bird with a lin in front and a deer in front, a fish tail, a dragon on a turtle's back, a swallow's jaw and a chicken's beak, with 2 black and white tail feathers on its back, wrapped in endless flames, leaps above the flag. Tianfeng, one of the second ancestors of the Phoenix clan, was a being who reached the peak of Hunyuan Xianxian in his peak period. It is said that the Tianfeng and the earthly phoenix were transformed from Pangu's heart. Because all things are divided into yin and yang, the yang in Pangu's heart turned into a phoenix of heaven, the yin in Pangu's heart turned into a phoenix on earth. The two used their own blood to cooperate with the auspicious energy of heaven and earth to evolve the Phoenix clan. This is basically the case for Pangu descendants such as dragons, unicorns, and white tigers. Looking at Tianfeng writhing in the sacred flag, Su Junming hesitated for a moment, but Su Junming still did not use the flesh and blood essence he had collected to conceive and raise it. With his current level of cultivation, he could only use 5-faced divine flags at most. After all his efforts, the 12-sided divine flags would be the pinnacle. There is absolutely no need to rush to consume your precious flesh and blood essence on the Tianfeng divine flag. Whenever I advance to the level of Hunyuan true immortal, it won't be too late to consider this divine flag. Before that, I'd better use spiritual energy to nurture it. The demon god in Dushan Shen demon banner does not necessarily need flesh and blood essence, spiritual energy can also be used, but it takes a long time to warm and nourish, which is far less fast than flesh and blood essence. Suddenly, a ray of light flew from the creation spirit island. When he landed, he transformed into a fat old man wearing a grey monk's robe, with a hunched back, white beard and hair. Su Junming looked surprised. It's really strange that you didn't sleep and still came to me. Tiangong Taoist rolled his eyes and sat down next to him. I don't go to the Three Treasures Palace for anything. What's up? The aura of the ancient world is not enough for me now. Send me to chaos. The chaos mentioned by Tiangong Taoism is of course external chaos. Can your current physical body withstand the violent chaotic aura? I am a chaos god and demon myself, and with the addition of the hollow willow, there is no problem. He nodded understandingly. Why do you have to drag me along? I asked knowingly. I have a huge body. If I appeared in the ancient times, I don't know how dazzling I would be. If the old thief Hung Jun still holds onto me, wouldn't I be in trouble? Su Junming nodded. Forget it, I'll just accompany you. Send you into the outer chaos. If I am killed, I can still be resurrected through you. You have to go sooner or later. Nowadays, the prehistoric era has been great. After experiencing the three eras of the beginning, the ancient times, and the ancient times, the innate spiritual energy between heaven and earth has long been exhausted. Without enough spiritual energy, entering the Hunyuan realm, the cultivation level will improve slowly. It's outrageous. Stand up slowly. Let's go. I happen to be curious about what the chaos outside the prehistoric world is like. With a finger, a black space channel emerged. Taking one step forward, when he emerged again, he had arrived at a 9-foot-sized bluestone altar. The altar is located in the center of a stone cave, where he left it when he was looking for the black turtle's body last time. And it is also the farthest from the prehistoric continent and the closest to chaos. Do it with your hands, open the seal and come outside. In the distance is the starry sky, which is extremely deep. The surface of the desolate planet was wrapped in the endless starry sky, and an unprecedented quietness and loneliness emerged from the bottom of my heart. I haven't felt this way for a long time. After shaking his head to calm his thoughts, he activated the gourd vine. The azure space gourd has a mighty aura. The bridge of the void. The aura of the space gourd surged, and it instantly turned into a sky blue arch bridge. It flew up, and the arch bridge instantly stretched. Trillions of miles of space folded in an instant and passed by in one step. The speed is thousands of times faster than Su Junming's void divine movement. Of course, it also consumes more mana. Fortunately, this is his natal magical power, and even if it consumes more, it is still within the range he can bear. Thanks to book friend Mars for the 100 starting coin reward, thank you very much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1046. The void bridge was incredibly fast, but Su Junming couldn't keep pushing it. After all, the mana consumed needed to be replenished. And the further you go outward, the fewer yellow planets there are around you. The acquired chaotic aura became thicker and thicker, and the originally stable void also became turbulent. Su Junming, who has a sensitive consciousness, feels as if he is on the sea, and his body rises and falls with the waves. Moreover, activating the void bridge consumes more mana than before. Fortunately, he still has Chongshan in the middle, and has various spiritual roots, so he has no shortage of spiritual energy. The starry sky in the prehistoric era was vast. Su Junming activated the void bridge to fly for nearly a million years. After crossing the endless void, he finally came to a light film that shone with light blue aura. This is the crystal wall of the prehistoric world, the edge of the world. Although it doesn't look thick, it has unimaginable toughness. The violent energy of chaos became tame in front of the crystal wall of the world. It is constantly being swallowed and refined by the prehistoric world, becoming the nutrients for the world's growth. It is indeed worthy of the Hunyuan world. This kind of power is really too strong. Su Junming couldn't help but be amazed. The world of Chongshan is also a vast world, but compared with the prehistoric world, it is like a 3-year-old child and an adult. There is a huge difference. Slowly flying to the crystal wall, the acquired chaotic spiritual energy surged in. Su Junming seemed to be caught in a torrent, and it took a lot of mana to stabilize his body. Slowly reaching out and inserting his hand into the crystal wall, it seemed as if he had broken through a thick layer of water film, without encountering much resistance. He secretly said, "Sure enough." Ancient books record that the prehistoric world was an indestructible and powerful barrier to outside creatures, but internal creatures could come and go freely. However, those who are eligible to enter the crystal wall system for the first time are at least Hunyuan celestial immortals. Deluo Jinxian was too reluctant and could not stop the violent chaotic spiritual energy from washing away. Of course, it would be different if there was a treasure protecting you. He took out the Xianyuan water control flag and a layer of dark blue shield to protect his whole body. He gritted his teeth and activated his magic power to fly straight towards the crystal wall system. It was as if he had passed through a layer of thick glue, and Su Junming hadn't waited for him to think about it. Boom, the violent chaos energy surged up. How to say? It was like a violent wave suddenly crashed down. Su Junming was like a ball, which was instantly sent flying tens of thousands of miles away. After reacting, he quickly stabilized his mind and tried his best to activate Xuanyuan's water control flag to protect himself. The mana in his body was quickly depleted. He grabbed the Xianyuan water control flag and combined his physical body and mana into one, allowing it to be taken down stably. But the shield that originally protected 3 feet around him was reduced to only 3 feet by the violent chaos. Don't dare to fly too fast, because it is easy to be blown away by the chaos energy. I don't know how much energy will be consumed if I want to stabilize myself by then. Seeing that his powers were at the bottom, he hurriedly activated his magical power of rewarding good deeds on the path of cause and effect. After recovering his powers, he continued to move forward. Repeated dozens of times, and finally left the prehistoric world thousands of miles away from the crystal wall. Su Junming, who was exhausted from the torture, suddenly slapped his head and said in annoyance, "I'm so stupid. Reach out and make a move." A large flag flew out, with 6 legs and 4 wings, shaped like a yellow sack, and covered with azure scales. Dejong jumped down holding a staff close to his feet. It grows in the wind, and in the blink of an eye it becomes 60 million feet tall. The violent chaotic energy finally became a little more docile in front of the perfect and tyrannical body of Hunyuan true immortal. Su Junming hurriedly flew into the sea of consciousness of the Emperor River. The feeling of drifting with the tide and being precarious disappeared in an instant. He let out a long sigh. If I had taken it out from the beginning, I wouldn't have had to suffer this. No longer worried about the violent chaotic energy, Su Junming finally had the energy to look at the surrounding scenery. The sky-like crystal wall of the prehistoric world behind him is still a dazzling bright blue. It was pitch black in the distance, with no stars or anything visible. It seems that there is only chaos energy. Actuating the Dian mirror, Su Junming's line of sight instantly expanded hundreds of thousands of times, and he could see everything tens of thousands of trillions of miles in diameter. If he were in the prehistoric world, he could see most of the prehistoric continent at a glance. But in the vast expanse of chaos, it is nothing more than a land of mustard seeds. Several stars came into view. Su Junming subconsciously urged demon god Dezhong to walk away. He once again experienced the feeling of running to death in Wangshan. After walking for 100,000 years, the light spots became clear. The familiar bright blue instantly made him understand that these were the world. And they are all Hunyuan worlds far above the vast world. But compared to the prehistoric world, it is far behind. Even the largest one among them is only 1/10 the size of the ancient world. 3 of the worlds are relatively close together, while the other 2 are slightly further apart. 1 is a monk, 3 are Taoists, and the rest are demons. Su Junming suddenly realized. This is the dojo created by the saint in chaos. The Sumaishan of Jian and Zunti, the Dachishan of Taking Sages, the Qinggui heaven of Yuking Sages, the Yu heaven of Shangqing Sages, and the Wawang heaven of Nuwa Sages. Jian and Zunti are really good brothers. They are all in the same Taoist temple and never distinguish each other. In comparison, the 3 pure ones are far behind. No wonder the power of Buddhism in later generations can overwhelm Taoism. Unity is strength. After sighing, Su Junming didn't go any further. Although among the 5 dojos, only Nuwa sits in charge of Emperor Wa, she is also a saint. It's better not to provoke him. Wangtian is a huge world with a mainland diameter of more than 60 trillion miles, not counting the starry sky. It is roughly equivalent to 1/15 of the main world of the prehistoric world. Because it has not been long since the establishment, the innate spiritual energy in the world has not dissipated. The vast land and oceans are filled with jackals, tigers, and leopards, and the famous mountains and rivers are filled with evil spirits. Located in the center of the world, there is also an extremely towering mountain supporting the heaven and earth. Overall, the entire Wawang heaven is more like a miniature version of the prehistoric world. On the top of a mountain that looks like Mount Buzhu, there stands a gorgeous palace. The 3 characters Fenki Palace on the plaque outside the middle palace door shine brightly. In the palace, white clouds floated above, and everything was indifferent. The golden lamp below shines brightly, illuminating all directions. Bronze-colored gold pillars support the entire hall. A tall goddess with the body of a snake and the tail of a snake, coiled around a grand throne with her eyes closed. In front of him, there was a red hydrangea measuring several thousand feet suspended. Threads of black resentment separated from the hydrangea and were taken away by an invisible force. Suddenly, the red hydrangeas trembled violently. The roar of the hidden beast came from it. Nuwa opened her eyes and frowned slightly. The beautiful face is like a weeping begonia and a withered rose, which makes people feel pity. Why is this black turtle soul so irritable today? 40 million years ago, Gong Gong's anger touched Mount Buzhu, causing the earth to sink to the northwest and the sky to the 4th dimension. With the help of her teacher Hung Jun, she killed the black turtle in the North Sea, refined its limbs to support the prehistoric world, and refined the 5-color sacred stone to mend the sky. Gained so much merit. But the black turtle's soul was riddled with resentment because of his innocent death. If she was just filled with resentment, with her dignity as a saint, she would just kill him. But because its 4 legs support the sky, the soul of the black turtle has strong merits and virtues. Killing it will only deplete one's own merits, and wise men would not do it. There is no other way but to use the red hydrangea to trap the black turtle's soul, continue to refine its resentment, and send it to reincarnation in the future. However, the resentment of this black turtle is extremely stubborn, and it is intertwined with the energy of merit, making it particularly difficult to understand. Even with her status as a saint, less than 1/3 of it has been eliminated in 40 million years. And it gets harder the further back you go. Fortunately, the most important thing for saints is time. But today, for some unknown reason, the black turtle's soul suddenly became violent. At the same time, Su Junming, who was far away in the chaos, suddenly stopped. As soon as his heart moved, the projection of Tiangong Taoist suddenly appeared beside him. What's wrong? I feel that the spirit of the black turtle is nearby. Suangi, the one who was killed by Hung Jun and Nuwa. Su Junming subconsciously looked towards Wei Huangtian. It should be right there. We occupy its body, so we owe it its karma, Tiangong Taoist said. I know. But the power of the saint is extraordinary. And this place is far away from the ancient world. It is still unknown how much power of heaven and earth the Dushan god and demon formation can borrow. If you can't defeat the saint, you will die. In the end, even if my soul can be resurrected later, I don't know how long it will take to restore my current cultivation level. It's not worth it for us to pay so much for a physical cause and effect. Tiangong Taoist nodded. Let's wait until I completely recover my cultivation before we talk. At the peak of the Black Turtle, the Hunyuan Xianxian has reached perfection, and is only one step away from being able to advance to the Hunyuan Golden Immortal, which is equivalent to the Taoist state of beheading 3 corpses. She was so strong that she couldn't defeat Hung Jun, but she was able to compete with Nuwa, who was far away from the prehistoric world. If you add the Dushan gods and demons formation, even Hung Jun can give it a try. After glancing at the location of Emperor Wa from a distance, Su Junming changed direction and walked towards the depths of chaos. As they got farther and farther away, the black turtle's sense of the physical body became weaker and weaker, and it calmed down. Su Junming, who was deep in the chaos, saw another bright light. Is it Hung Jun's Xixiao Palace? When the Dian Divine Mirror was activated, it was found that its size was equivalent to 1/5 of the prehistoric continent, far exceeding the cave heaven Dharma realm opened by the saints just now. The shape is also similar to that of the prehistoric world, with a majestic giant peak in the center supporting the entire sky. In the world, there are witches, demons, and ancient human races whose stature exceeds 100 feet, 1,000 feet, or even 10,000 feet. Even many races that have become extinct in the prehistoric world can be seen here. However, these races that once fought each other in ancient times now seem to be coexisting peacefully. On the central peak, there are row upon row of simple yet gorgeous palaces. In the middle, the most gorgeous palace, a huge plaque is engraved with the 4-character divine pattern. Xianyuan Temple. It is rumored that Taoist master Xianyuan of Penglai Island in the East China Sea, one of the 5 ancient saints, did not participate in the ancient war like Yang Mei. Could this be a dojo he opened in chaos? Beings as famous as Yang Mei and Hung Jun have obviously already attained the Deluo Golden Immortal Realm. Thanks to the book Friends Boring Little Evil and Guangming, tomorrow for each 100 starting coins. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1047. Looking up along the central sacred peak, we passed through the wind, thunder, frost, and snow to reach the top of the mountain. Amidst the endless howling wind, there is actually a small valley with lush vegetation, and gurgling water. In the center of the valley is a simple thatched hut. Sitting in the hut was an old Taoist wearing moon-white robes with white beard and hair. The qingyuan as big as an acre of land dispersed, and there were no lotus flowers on it, but 5 spiritual flowers, white, green, black, red, and yellow. Obviously, this old Taoist's technique is not the same as Hung Jun's technique. The rich energy of the 5 elements is entwined, and the flower in the middle holds a 5-color wooden staff, which is obviously a natal spiritual weapon. On the white flower on the left is a black-yellow jade ruler, which has the same aura as Taoist takings Heaven and Earth Xian Huang Merit Pagoda. Heaven and Earth Xian Huang Merit Ruler. Su Junming understood immediately. On the right side, the white flowers hold a pine tree with dry stems and branches, shining with 5 colors of light. Suddenly, the Taoist opened his eyes, and his sharp eyes seemed to have crossed the endless chaos and fell on Su Junming. He quickly moved his eyes away, feeling secretly shocked. What a keen sense! Who is spying on me? Taoist Master Xiantian murmured. When he was meditating just now, he felt a sense of peeping. Although it disappeared quickly, it was by no means an illusion. Hung Jun. He shook his head. The old guy didn't have the ability to hide his spiritual sense. It is simply possible to have a few people including Sanking, Nuwa, Jingyan, and Zunti. Maybe it's the chaos gods and demons passing by. Well, there haven't been chaos gods and demons for how many years? With a thought in his heart, the soul soared upwards and came outside the world in the blink of an eye, transforming into a gigantic body that was billions of feet taller than the world below. The huge eyes, comparable to the sun stars in the prehistoric world, shot out two rays of divine light, spanning millions of trillions of miles, looking straight into the chaos. Su Junming saw this and quickly urged Emperor Zhongzhuwu to leave. My God, there is no one who can gain a foothold in the chaos who is not a big boss. He cannot be offended or offended. It wasn't until it was far enough away that even the prehistoric world turned into a hazy light spot, then the hollow willow was taken out. A giant tree of 30,000 feet appeared in the chaos, its branches and leaves swayed, its azure brilliance surged, and the chaotic energy around it was instantly swallowed up by the hollow willow. Within 1,000,000 feet, a space filled with spiritual energy appeared. Come out. A ray of divine light flew out from the hollow willow trunk. Boom. Like a huge boulder thrown into a river. Chaos energy is churning endlessly within billions of miles. Ouch. The earth-shattering dragon roar shook the boundless chaos. At the same level, in terms of size alone, few chaos gods and demons can compare to Xian Turtle. It's too big. A hollow willow 30,000 feet in size is like a speck of dust compared to the body of a black tortoise that is hundreds of trillions of miles away. The rough waves, which made Su Junming unbearable, seemed like gentle ripples to Taoist Tiangong, unable to shake his huge body. The huge turtle body swung and flew tens of millions of trillions of miles away in an instant. The speed was hundreds of times faster than Su Junming. Probably because he had been suffocated by staying in the hollow willow for a long time, Silouan's Tiangong Taoist wandered in the chaos to his heart's content. Su Junming had scattered hundreds of spatial landmarks in the prehistoric world. He was not afraid of not being able to find his way back, so he simply let him. When he stopped, the surroundings were dark. Even if Su Junming activated the Dian mirror to the extreme, he could not see the starlight of the prehistoric world. They have gone too far into chaos. Fortunately, he could still sense the landmarks he left in the ancient world through the space talisman, otherwise he would never have run so far. I haven't felt this comfortable in a long time. Tiangong Taoist's voice sounded in my heart. You feel comfortable, but it's not easy for me to go back. What's so difficult about this? You set up a teleportation formation on top of my tortoise shell. It won't be a matter of time before you come and go in the future. Tiangong Taoist's black tortoise body is huge, and his tortoise shell is like a continent, enough for Su Junming to set up the teleportation array again. Are you planning to stay here from now on? Yes. This chaotic aura is just for cultivation. In 30 million years at most, I can restore the guild to the perfection of the Hunyuan true immortal. After 1 Yuan Hui, I can break through to the Hunyuan Xianxian. After 3 Yuan Hui, I can completely recover. Peak. As for the Hunyuan golden immortal, if there are 10 Yuan Hui, it should be almost the same. Su Junming nodded in agreement. With Suangi's previous accumulation of nearly 100 Yuan Hui, it is indeed easier to break through the Hunyuan golden immortal. Take this hollow willow and leave the 10th grade green lotus. It is more suitable for me, and it is nurtured by the energy of chaos, so that it can continue to grow. There is no way it will be restored to the 24th grade green lotus. Chaos contains creation, and if the innate spiritual roots want to restore their original state, even if they absorb the acquired spiritual energy, it will never be possible. Only chaos spiritual chi is suitable, because it is not only of higher quality, but also contains good fortune. Only the chaotic aura can slowly grow the innate immortal aura at the core of the innate spiritual root. With a finger, the green lotus created in Chongshan residence slowly flew out. Tiangong Taoist's white dragon head opened its mouth and swallowed it, and the green lotus flew away instantly and quickly fell into its mouth. Su Junming did not take the hollow willow, but left it on the black turtle's back. He discovered that in the chaos, the hollow willow grew much faster than Kongshanju. The transformed Taishu innate spiritual energy was far richer than before. Sitting cross-legged under the hollow willow, the billowing spiritual energy soon followed the acupoints and penetrated into the physical body. The thought of practicing here suddenly arose in my heart. His Taoist practice has already advanced to the Hunyuan realm, and his magic power has been perfected, only the physical body is missing. The spiritual energy here is rich, 100 times that of the prehistoric world. Moreover, the violent chaotic aura is very suitable for polishing the body. By the way, Dushan God Demon Banner. A wave of his right hand. 17 Dushan gods and demon flags surround the tortoise shell. Transforming thousands of feet in an instant, the huge gods and demons jumped down from the flags. The huge mouth opened, and chaotic energy rolled in. The originally stagnant auras of the major gods and demons quickly expanded. The newly born Tianfeng god and demon improved the fastest. Sure enough, although it is not as good as using flesh and blood essence directly, compared with ordinary spiritual energy, chaotic spiritual energy is more helpful to the gods and demons of Dushan. After placing the Dushan god demon banner, he took out Chongshan residence and put it into chaos. The endless energy of chaos was sucked into the spiritual island of creation. The two top quality innate spiritual roots of Huang Zhongli and innate Polygonum multiflorum, as well as the top quality acquired spiritual roots such as red flame immortal grass, 7-star ginseng, and true dragon treasure medicine, can quickly absorb spiritual energy and grow. After arranging everything, Su Junming came to the edge of the hollow willow. With a thought in his heart, the shield held open by the hollow willow cracked open in an instant, and billowing chaotic spiritual energy rushed straight towards Su Junming. Even before getting close, one can already clearly feel its violent endowment. He gritted his teeth and allowed the chaotic aura to wash away. A burning feeling irritating the nerves. How should I put it? It was like being pricked on the skin by countless thin needles. Although it was not fatal, it hurt a lot. The key is that this is still the first wave. The agitated chaotic spiritual energy continued to wash away, and the damage became more and more severe. Until Su Junming's skin and flesh burst open. After enduring to a certain extent, he hurriedly activated the hollow willow to block the chaotic spiritual energy, and then absorbed the innate spiritual energy transformed from the hollow willow, gourd vine, etc. to replenish himself. Wait until the wounds on your body heal, then repeat what you did before. Over and over again, tinkering, and in constant self-torture, his physical cultivation improved rapidly. 100,000 years, 300,000 years, 1 million years. Another 10 million years later. Su Junming sat upright on the tortoise shell, and the turbulent chaotic energy hit him, making a roar like a drum. Bronze skin, full of strength. The long hair is flying, which makes the whole person look extremely domineering. Opening his eyes, 2 rays of light were like stars. It's time. Don't try to escape the tribulation on me. If the tribulation catches my eye, I will be in trouble. The voice of Tiangong Taoist appeared in the bottom of my heart. Why are you willing to wake up and talk to me? I'm afraid I'll be dragged into a catastrophe by you out of nowhere. Su Junming smiled calmly. Looking at the dark chaos. The day has finally come. Do you have any last words to say? It's so annoying. Su Junming's face darkened. I like the way you sleep best, Lao Chi. As soon as he finished speaking, his body transformed into escaping light and flew into the hollow willow. The once vast space has expanded a lot. Part of the originally swaying true water of the Tianhe River was directly absorbed by the hollow willow, and part filled the water world in the Gong Gong flag. Now, here is just an empty sky blue space. The space of tens of millions of trillions of miles is enough for Su Junming to survive the tribulation. The scenery is the same and there is nothing interesting to see. He simply calmed down his breathing and no longer suppressed the breath in his body. In an instant, it was as if an ancient behemoth that had been sleeping for many years came to life. The earth-shattering aura quickly spread. De Deo sensed the presence of this aura and instantly launched a thunder calamity test. Black clouds emerged from nowhere and spread out 300 billion miles in the blink of an eye. As a dual practitioner of martial arts and Taoism, Su Junming's test was far superior to that of a single practitioner. Therefore, his last Lucian catastrophe was not 99 and 81 thunder calamities, but a full 124. 9 represents the number of extremes, and 12 represents the number of perfection. Dual cultivation of martial arts and Taoism represents perfection. The test of heavenly tribulation will naturally be more difficult. A fat old man wearing a grey monk's robe, with white beard and hair, and a hunched back appeared next to Su Junming. It is the projection of Tiangong Taoist's soul. This catastrophe is indeed extraordinary. How did you come? Today is your big day to overcome the tribulation, how could I not come? Before he finished speaking, several rays of light flew out, looking like a 3-year-old Renwuji, who looked like an 11 or 12-year-old boy, the Dragon Emperor with a cold face. Ao Tian, who is about in his early 20s, wearing the robe of the Gun Dragon Emperor, has a domineering appearance. Suda is about 30 years old, fat, and smiling. His aura was elegant, like a good young master from a troubled world, but he turned out to be Chen Xianzang with a bald head. Plus the hunchbacked old man looking Tiangong Taoist. Except for the unborn Xiangfei Po, the 7 real bodies are all here. Thanks to book friend 201908070055222697 for the reward of 100 starting coins. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1048. Looking around, Renwuji smiled and said, "It seems that everyone has a good understanding and is here. How can I not come for such an important matter as my tribulation?" Suda said. Chen Xianzang looked up. The scale of this thunder tribulation is indeed extraordinary. Dual practitioners of martial arts and 12 paths can cross together. Tisk tisk. Looking at these judgmental guys, Su Junming said calmly, "If you don't stay away, if the thunderstorm hits, you will become scum in an instant. Hey, it doesn't matter. It's just a projection. Come back when it's gone. Go away, you are using my consciousness." With a wave of his big sleeve, the powerful force swept up everyone and flew away far away. Looking up, the black calamity clouds in the sky have spread to hundreds of billions of miles. Thick lead clouds were airtight, completely covering the sky. The mighty thunder, like a dragon and a snake coiled around it, added a touch of eerie purple to the black. Boom! The thunder roared, and hundreds of millions of miles shook. The huge purple lightning, like a giant sword holding up the sky, slashed down on Su Junming's head. Ka-ka-ka! The jumping arc covered tens of thousands of feet in radius. A huge purple thunder ball completely enveloped Su Junming. The physical body tempered by the violent chaotic spiritual energy is strong enough, even the sharp and powerful big hole divine thunder can't do anything. Then the second thunder struck down. The thunderball that reaches 30,000 feet is even more massive. The thunder and lightning arcs are like thousands of birds chirping in unison, domineering and shocking. But the thunder that was enough to tear an ordinary Deluo Jinxian into pieces hit Su Junming like gold and iron. The ding-dong-dang-dang sound was heard without any damage. Hundreds of millions of miles away, countless people are sitting, standing, or lying down. How many thunderbolts do you think I can withstand with my physical body alone? Renwuji asked, bored. At least more than 60, Suda said firmly. Renwiji nodded and turned his head. Lao Chi, you have been with me the longest. How much do you think he can resist? Taoist Tiangong, who looked like a hunchbacked old man, touched his beard under his chin, and the image of Su Junming, who was tortured by the chaotic spiritual energy and dripping with blood, was still madly swallowing the chaotic spiritual energy into his belly to temper his internal organs. At least more than 100 roads. Bideo. Are you crazy? No matter how strong my body is, I can't withstand such a powerful tribulation, Renwiji said in disbelief. Others also looked over, with some suspicion on their faces. I am stronger than ever, but looking at how powerful the heavenly tribulation is, it is a bit astonishing to be able to withstand hundreds of them with just my physical body. Ahem. Chen Xianzang interjected, since we all have differences, why not take the opportunity to gamble? Each of the 7 soul clones has its own characteristics. Renwiji is talkative, Dragon Emperor is ruthless, Ao Tian is lustful, Suda is drunk and greedy for money, Chen Xianzang is addicted to gambling, and Taoist Tiangong is lethargic. I'll suppress 70, Renwiji said quickly. I press 75. After saying that, Suda also raised his eyebrows at Renwiji. Seeing the disgusted look on the latter's face, he laughed proudly. Where are you, fourth? Chen Xianzang asked. I don't want to play such boring games. Ao Tian said proudly. 90 ways. A cold voice came. Everyone turned their heads and looked subconsciously. The Dragon Emperor stood with his arms folded, his face expressionless. Hey, it's rare that the third ice cube will also participate. Chen Xianzang didn't even plan to ask him. Every time he played such a pleasant little gamble in the past, the Dragon Emperor never participated. Old 7 said 100, so I'll guess 101. Chen Xianzang touched his bald head and said. Lao Lu, I thought I was shameless enough, but I didn't expect you to be even more shameless than me. Suda's eyes widened. Renwiji said angrily, you finally revealed your strengths. Suda glared angrily. After a while. Whispering sound. They each turned to look at the deity who was going through the tribulation in the distance. Taoist Tiangong rolled his eyes, looking at the few guys who were born before him, and thought to himself. They are all monsters and monsters. It is not easy for me to lead them till now. He didn't realize that he was also one of the demons and was equally difficult to lead. Boom. The rolling thunder was like the Milky Way pouring down, and the thunder with a diameter of tens of thousands of feet crashed down directly. In addition to the usual tearing of thunder, it is also extremely heavy. Su Junming's body was severely knocked down hundreds of feet. Silently feel the changes in your body. I can still bear it. Haha, second brother, you have lost. It's already been 71. Suda's proud voice came. Humph, don't be complacent. You guessed 75. Judging from the boss's appearance, 80 is no problem. If I had known earlier, I should have followed Lao Lu and Lao Chi. It was a mistake. It was a mistake, Suda said angrily. Hearing this from afar, Su Junming's heart swelled with anger. How dare these bastards bet on my ability to survive the tribulation? It must have been that bastard Lao Lu who started it. Humph, I'll settle the score with them after I survive the tribulation. Boom, another thunder struck down. The calamity thunder became stronger and stronger, reaching 30,000 feet, 50,000 feet, and 100,000 feet. Lao San, you also lost, Renwiji said. The Dragon Emperor stood with his arms folded, his face still showing the look of keeping strangers away. The more we lose, the better it is for us. Everyone was stunned and nodded to each other. Looking at Su Junming, who was going through the tribulation, the old voice of Taoist Tiangong rang out. We can definitely become Hunyuan golden immortals, but the only one who can surpass Pangu is me. The further he goes, the higher our achievements will be in the future. Everyone was silent. Renwuji suddenly said, "Do you think there is a world more powerful than the prehistoric world in the depths of chaos?" Everyone pondered for a moment. Chaos is vast, and no one knows what is in the depths. However, if I dig deep into the memories in Pangu Yuanling, I might be able to find some clues, Chen Xianzang said. Why are we thinking so much? We are no more than Hunyuan celestial immortals now, and Lao Chi's highest level of cultivation is no more than Hunyuan true immortal. If you want to advance to Hunyuan golden immortal, you have to work hard at several Yuan Hui, or even dozens of Yuan Hui. No. When we advance to Hunyuan golden immortal, let's consider what's in the depths of chaos, Suda said. That's right. With my Dushan god and demon array, the saint is no longer a fatal threat to us. As long as there is enough time, with the assistance of the Dian divine mirror, there will always be an advanced Hunyuan when he was a golden immortal, Ao Tian said confidently. Their path of cultivation is not the Taoism method of killing corpses to achieve enlightenment, nor is it the achievement of merit and virtue, but the method of enlightenment that focuses on understanding the laws and mastering the laws. In fact, this is the most fundamental method of enlightenment. The so-called enlightenment through corpse killing and merit-based enlightenment are themselves laws of understanding. Corpse cutting and merit are only methods, not the purpose. Su Junming and the others were not the 3,000 guests of Zixiao Palace. They did not know the method of killing corpses, and even if they knew it, they would not dare to use it. Didn't you see that out of the 3,000 disciples of Zixiao Palace, only a few disciples of Hung Jun finally became enlightened? They would definitely not believe it if there was no one among them. As for merit, it's a good thing. But matters of great merit and virtue in the ancient world have long been valued by the saints, and they have no share at all. Therefore, in the end, the most appropriate method is to be honest, understand the rules bit by bit, and then achieve enlightenment. With the assistance of the Dian Divine Mirror and Su Junming's time law, this stupid method that consumes time and energy and requires extremely high levels of understanding is the most suitable for them. Boom! The thunderbolt with a diameter of more than 1 million feet crashed down. The jumping electric sparks instantly drowned the still upright figure. The 101st one. The Dragon Emperor said calmly. And the heavenly tribulation is no longer the great cave divine thunder, but the purple sky divine thunder that can only be encountered by monks in the Hunyuan realm who are going through the tribulation, Chen Xianzang said. I'm so perverted. How can I physically resist a thunderstorm of this level, Suda said. He has been tempering in chaos for 10 million years, and his body has repeated hundreds of thousands of times between destruction and rebirth. I don't know if the great god Pangu has ever experienced this stage. If so, I must be no worse than him. Even, above him. Tiangong Taoist said slowly. Staring at the figure surrounded by thunder in the distance, like a god and a demon. Although it is only 9 feet tall, it is extremely majestic. After a long time, Ba-Su is really getting more and more perverted, Renwuji admired. I feel that the Seven Souls' true body should be a method similar to killing a corpse to become a Taoist. The more incarnations you kill, the closer the state of mind of this deity will be to the Taoist realm. Now, he is afraid that he has reached the state of nothing more than the path of renunciation. Dragon Emperor said calmly. It's rare for you to say so much at once. But judging from my state, it is indeed the case, Chen Xianzang said. What's the point of practicing Hunyuan and still being a greenhead, Ao Tian muttered. Feeling something wrong for a moment, he turned his head and found that the others were looking at him. Not everyone is a stallion like you, Renwuji said angrily. That's right, those who don't know think you are the reincarnation of Zeus. Over the past 50 million years, you have slept with enough women to strengthen your regiment. Suda curled his lips. What do you know? A beautiful woman is like a flower. Only by savoring it carefully and deeply can you appreciate her beauty. With a look of intoxication on his face, he said sternly after a moment, and I didn't give up all the time. It was only after they died that I looked for the next one, truly showing the proper attitude of a lustful but responsible man. You can say this kind of thing. Renwuji looked disgusted. Suda agreed with his face. The Dragon Emperor was too lazy to pay attention to them. He had seen this kind of scene many times. Chen Xianzang watched with interest. It would be best if they had a chance to take a gamble. Tiangong Taoist's eyes were slightly lowered, as if he was half asleep and half awake. He occasionally glanced at the crowd, but most of the time, he was staring at Su Junming, who was going through the tribulation. Ji-Lei is getting stronger and stronger. Really? After more than 100 thunder tribulations, each one is a huge improvement. Therefore, compared to the previous effort, Su Junming was already very energetic. Boom! The purple divine thunder from the sky, like a giant axe that created the world, fell with a crash. Thanks to book friend O for the reward of 1666 starting points. Thank you very much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1049. Boom boom. The purple-colored Zixiao divine thunder, like an angry dragon, circled and danced around Su Junming, spraying razor-like thunder wantonly. Drops of golden red blood lay down along the pores. Feeling the needle-like pain, he frowned slightly. It's already the 105th. He originally thought that he could hold on to 110 strokes before the thunder could break his body's defense, but now he couldn't hold on after 105 strokes. Boom, the 106th thunder tribulation struck down. The power was increased several times compared to the previous one, and his skin was instantly broken open, and the originally bronze skin became bloody. Angry thunder rolled in the sky, and the purple-colored Zixiao divine thunder accumulated enough energy and roared down. Su Junming no longer chose to resist. With a thought in his heart, the gourd vine soared into the sky. The light of the azure space gourd flashed, and a large hole formed in the sky, completely absorbing the thunder. It has become a mid-grade Hunyuan Lingbao level space gourd, which contains infinite space. No matter how violent the thunder is, it is nothing more than water without a source and a tree without a root. Phew, Ba Su is finally willing to use the magic weapon. Renwuji breathed a sigh of relief, seeing those few thunderbolts just now made him very nervous. I am afraid that if I am careless, I will be seriously injured by the thunder. Then the remaining dozens of more powerful thunder will be difficult to survive. Ba Su is really tough. If you don't get hurt physically, you don't need a baby, Suda said. Okay, don't talk nonsense. The next step is the key, the Dragon Emperor said coldly. Everyone looked at Su Junming. The thunder in front of me must be passable based on my cultivation, so they don't care. But the power of the next dozen thunder tribulations was too powerful. Even though I might be careful with my abilities, as the seven souls' true forms, of course they have to pay attention. 107 ways. 108 ways. 109 ways. 110. 111. By this time, the power of the heavenly tribulation had become stronger again. Because the violent thunder was too powerful, Zhangzi's Hong already had a hint of black. The thunder clouds in the sky have also expanded from 100 billion miles to 300 billion miles. The vast spiritual energy, under the influence of the Great Avenue, transformed into violent thunder. Rumble, like the roar of an ancient beast. Kaka kaka. Powerful lightning instantly penetrated the sky and the earth. Swallowed by the space gourd again. But this time it's not a space gourd but a 5-element gourd. He also wanted to keep the strongest gourds to deal with the last few thunder disasters. The 112th and 113th thunder tribulations were taken away by the causal gourd. The 114th and 115th thunder tribulations were swallowed by the devouring gourd. The 116th and 117th thunder tribulations were swallowed by the yin and yang gourd. The 118th and 119th thunder tribulations were swallowed by the imperial gourd. After the 120th thunder calamity was swallowed by the soul gourd, the world suddenly became silent. Su Junming's heart trembled and he secretly thought, sure enough. Everything was as he expected, the last four thunder tribulations were the strongest point. A flash of earthy color suddenly appeared in mid-air. Gradually, an extremely complex divine pattern emerged, and Su Junming felt the heavy charm of earth from it. What surprised him was that the huge thunder power did not form a thunder eye, but quickly merged with the earth elements to form a giant seal covering millions of miles. A mountain-like pressure spread instantly. Su Junming felt his body sink. Before he could calm down, the giant seal slowly fell down. The speed is not fast, but there is a suffocating feeling of depression. Su Junming saw this and formed seals with his hands. The bronze cords on the gourd vines are rippling with vast divine light. Heaven, work, God, hammer. Buzz. The bronze gourd representing the Tiangong Dao, after leaving the gourd vine, expanded rapidly and became tens of millions of feet in size in the blink of an eye. The image also changed accordingly, no longer in the shape of a gourd, but instead turned into an 8-petal copper hammer engraved with countless mysterious divine patterns. This is the great magical power that Su Junming realized after he advanced to Hunyuan in Tiangong Dao. All this time, never used. Su Junming shouted angrily, his body grew in the wind, and in the blink of an eye it became tens of thousands of feet tall. With a hand as big as a mountain, he grabbed the bronze hammer, stepped back, his waist and horse became one, rounded the bronze hammer, and with the ferocity of 10 swings and 10 rounds, he hit the giant seal in the air crazily. In an instant, the world became silent. Boom! The loud noise was like the creation of heaven and earth, shaking the sky for hundreds of millions of miles. The whole space began to tremble. This is not the end. After the big seal collapsed under the huge force, the thunder contained in it instantly became violent. Like a runaway wild horse, it was knocked down towards Su Junming. Before he could react, he was enveloped by thunder. In a moment, a powerful force of swallowing spread out, and huge thunderbolts were taken into the space gourd one after another. But in just a few breaths, Su Junming's skin was torn apart and his flesh was bloody. Damn it, what kind of thunder is this? It can actually do a second strike, Renwuji exclaimed. Obviously, this is a calamity thunder that can only appear in Dzogchen. You and I have never encountered it when we went through the calamity, Suda said. There are 3 more ways. Before Chen Xianzang finished speaking, the water vapor between heaven and earth suddenly became thicker, and a water blue divine pattern appeared in the air. Earth, water, wind, and fire. Ao Tian said in surprise. It seems so, Chen Xianzang said. This time I really encountered a test. Su Junming also saw the aqua blue divine pattern in mid-air. Combined with the energy just now, violent strikes are not suitable for the last 4 tribulation thunders. Something moved in my heart. The huge 8-petal copper hammer changes instantly. Tiangong Divine Furnace. The giant brass furnace with the same divine power of Tiangong Dao, with golden lotus as the cover, 3 legs holding the 3 talents inside, the belly of the tripod connected with the bagua on the outside, and 2 towering ears, suddenly appeared in mid-air. The lid of the heavenly furnace opened instantly. The violent swallowing power enveloped the aqua blue talisman. At this moment, the latter has turned into a million-mile thunder river after integrating the endless thunder power. The river was so mighty that it was quickly swallowed up by the divine furnace of heaven. Clang, the furnace lid fell down. Boom boom boom. The giant furnace seemed to be filled with an ancient behemoth, attacking the Tiangong divine furnace crazily. The latter trembled endlessly, and it took a long time to stabilize. Before Su Junming could breathe a sigh of relief, hurricanes came together one after another. Indigo-colored divine patterns exuding the rich charm of the wind were quickly formed. Reward kindness. After using the magical power of karma to restore his magic power, Su Junming sealed the gourd with one finger. The latter's aura was generous, and endless purple divine light flew out from the gourd. Whether it is thunder or hurricane, the moment it is touched by the purple divine light, it seems to freeze instantly and never move again. Su Junming felt as if he had trapped a mad cow with the reins. Although he succeeded, it was struggling crazily, trying to escape from the restraints. Reward kindness. After recovering his mana, he pointed at the gourd of good fortune. The divine light of creation. The milky white divine light enveloped the seal gourd, and with the blessing, the seal's divine power instantly strengthened several times. The ice-blue water channel divine pattern that was still struggling fiercely, and the huge power of thunder hidden within, were instantly sealed. The purple divine light quickly retracted and was completely sealed into the purple sealing gourd. Looking at the increasingly oppressive calamity clouds in the sky, Su Junming let out a long breath. The last one. After earth, water, and wind, the only four elements left in heaven and earth are fire. The truth was as he expected. Rolling flame spiritual energy flew from the void, and the originally black calamity cloud quickly turned into black and red. The flames lingered in it, as if the world was annihilated. The rolling purple sky divine thunder looks like giant dragons flying in the flames. Unexpectedly, there was no flame divine pattern this time. But Su Junming didn't think it was a good thing. The pressure brought by the last tribulation thunder was much stronger than the previous three. With a finger, the space gourd sprinkled ripples, and layers of space barriers protected him in front of him. He was about to activate the gourd of creation and use the divine light of creation to strengthen it. Suddenly, the sky became silent. The next moment, it seemed as if the entire sky was suppressed. Thousands of huge pillars of red fire and thunder descended from the sky and set fire towards Su Junming. In an instant, the sky was filled with red. Time seemed to freeze at this moment. I don't know how much time passed before the red sky disappeared. Renwuji and others quickly looked around. When the familiar figure appeared again, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Although now Su Junming's flesh and blood have collapsed and his bones are exposed, he looks extremely miserable. But with the amazing physical body of the martial arts god general, as long as his head is not destroyed, he can be reborn. Oh my god, the scene of the sky full of flames and thunder pillars just now was really scary. After the most tense moment passed and the atmosphere relaxed, Renwuji finally had time to talk. That's Boss Su. If it were the thunder catastrophe just now, any one of us would have to kneel down, Suda said. The inner demon tribulation is coming. Regardless of Aotian's size, everyone also saw the black demonic energy falling from the sky. Compared with the previous violent thunder, the inner demon tribulation that the other Daluo monks were afraid of was not worried. Su Junming's Xingxing cultivation was already excellent, and coupled with the protection of the Dian Divine Mirror, it was the easiest to survive the inner demon tribulation. This is also true. In less than a quarter of an hour, the dark clouds of calamity in the air instantly turned into milky white aura of creation. Obviously, the inner demon tribulation has passed. The mighty spiritual energy of creation rolled down, Su Junming's bloody body quickly repaired, and at the same time it improved thousands of times. The same goes for Danshan, which is like a balloon that rapidly expands under the influence of powerful spiritual power of creation. A stronger Danshan can store stronger mana, and after the mana is exhausted, it can absorb spiritual energy more quickly and convert it into mana. The Hunyuan level Danshan is 10,000 times different from the knockdown level. This is also the biggest reason why it is difficult for Daluo Jingxian to compete with Hunyuan. You don't need anything else, just use powerful magic power to consume you to death. After the martial arts advanced to Hunyuan, the golden red gourd flower on the gourd vine, which represented martial arts, quickly transformed into a golden red small gourd. At the same time, countless mysteries emerged from the bottom of my heart. The law of heaven and earth, the four-character divine pattern, are engraved deep in the body. Thanks to the book Friend Trouble 2 for the 100 starting coin reward, thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1050. After Taoism breaks through Hunyuan, there will generally be four major natal magical powers. In addition to the great magical power of Dharma, heaven, elephant, and earth that he just harvested, Su Junming also has three kinds of powers, 3 heads and 6 arms, Pan Tuo divine palm and Pan Tuo divine sword. 3 heads and 6 arms does not really mean that there are only 3 heads and 6 arms. It is just another name for multi-headed and multi-armed supernatural powers. Depending on the needs, it can have 4 heads and 8 arms, or 2 heads and 4 arms. However, under normal circumstances, 3 heads and 6 arms are enough to take care of the front, rear, left, right, up and down, and are most suitable for martial arts fighting. It goes without saying much about Pan Tuo divine palm and Pan Tuo divine sword. The law of heaven is like the earth. Su Junming's physical body expanded instantly. After breaking through Hunyuan, his martial arts body was already 15 million feet long, but after activating the great supernatural power of law, heaven, elephant, and earth, his physical body was already over 100 million feet long. Almost a tenfold improvement. Moreover, whether it is physical energy, blood, or strength, it has been improved by more than 10 times. This is the real power of the natal supernatural power. In addition, this is still the beginning. As Su Junming's physical cultivation level continues to rise and he activates his magical powers, his physical body will become even larger. When Pangu created the world, he also used this magical power. After realizing the mystery of the new magical power, he swayed his body and returned to its original size. Suddenly, a ray of light flashed. The dim green divine light of the Dian divine mirror penetrates directly into the sea of consciousness. A long-lost feeling came over me. The soul becomes clear and the understanding increases greatly. Don't dare to neglect, seize the opportunity quickly and realize the way of time. This is the path he has studied the most in the past 10 million years, besides polishing his physical body. In an instant, the once majestic, vast, and elusive avenue seemed to be right before our eyes, and countless places that we had not understood before were quickly imprinted in our hearts. Gradually, the path of time reached the perfection of Hunyuan celestial immortal, just when he was preparing to break through to the realm of Hunyuan true immortal in one go. An invisible feeling of weightlessness came. The clear road suddenly becomes obscure. The brilliance of the Dian divine mirror dimmed. Su Junming was slightly stunned. He has been in the Yuan Hui for nearly half of his life, and he has never felt the pleasure of the Dian divine mirror blessing his understanding and the rapid improvement of the avenue. It was so sudden that I felt a little uncomfortable. What happened to me just now? I felt something strange happened in the Dian divine mirror. Renwuji is always the one with the fastest mouth. He glanced at everyone and nodded slowly. After breaking through the great realm, the Dian divine mirror's blessing of understanding has been restored. Recovered, Suda exclaimed. Does this mean that it's almost time for us to return to our original time and space? Ao Tian thought more. Have no idea. Su Junming shook his head and said, it is certainly not without reason that the Dian divine mirror takes us to various time and space. In the past, our cultivation level was too low and we could not touch it. When our cultivation level is high, it will be time for the truth to come to light. We are all Hunyuan celestial immortals now, and Lao Chi is the Hunyuan true immortal. Isn't that high enough? Suda said. If there are no new changes in the Dian divine mirror, it is certainly not enough, Su Junming said. Okay, you guys go back first. I just broke through and need time to stabilize my state. After saying this, he didn't care about the crowd and left the hollow willow with one step. The hollow willow tree that has grown to 40,000 feet has expanded its shelter area to 150,000 feet. This place is filled with the Taoist innate spiritual energy transformed from the hollow willow, refining the chaotic spiritual energy. Sitting cross-legged under the tree, he swallowed spiritual energy to nurture himself for 100 years before opening his eyes. Looking at the chaotic spiritual energy rolling like an angry wave tens of thousands of feet away, he took a deep breath, stood up slowly, and walked forward in long strides. Every time you take a step, your body grows a little longer. When he walked out of the chaos, his body had already transformed into 15 million feet. The huge martial arts body stands in the chaotic aura. The violent aura that once made him feel unbearable was now like a strong wind blowing and could no longer shake his body. Sit cross-legged. 365 large acupoints all over the body opened, and the billowing chaotic spiritual energy penetrated in an instant. His brows furrowed slightly. Although it stung a little, after carrying Zhou Tian, the spiritual energy still turned into mana in the dantian and qi and blood all over the body. Sure enough, as I thought, after the physical body advances to Hunyuan, it can directly absorb the chaotic spiritual energy to practice. Compared with the innate spiritual energy transformed by the hollow willow, although the chaotic spiritual energy is violent, it is of higher quality. One big Zhou Tian carried it down, which is comparable to the previous dozen Zhou Tian. This also means that the same cultivation time in chaos is more than 10 times that of the prehistoric world. With the thought in his heart, he spread his left palm. A huge bronze mirror with divine patterns engraved on the back emerged. The mirror light was as clear as water, extremely clear, and clearly reflected Su Junming's face. It is the Dian divine mirror that is intertwined with his soul and is even higher than the natal spiritual treasure. Carefully feel the changes in the divine mirror. The 5 paths are extremely majestic, and the whole prohibition exudes green gold divine light. It seems that the 5 paths are more magnificent than the Hunyuan world, and the gears are more precise, neatly arranged together. He frowned. It seems like something is missing. He didn't feel this way before, but after advancing to Hunyuan, his soul completed a fundamental qualitative change. After reaching a higher level, he could clearly feel this change. Of course, he couldn't tell exactly what was missing. In short, when I scanned the spiritual consciousness from the Dian divine mirror one by one, I always felt something was wrong. In addition, compared with the time when I first came to the ancient times and noticed the 5 restrictions inside the Dian mirror, now these 5 restrictions are shining brightly, although they are not very bright. But it's much better than the silence at the beginning. Obviously, as his cultivation level continues to improve, the Dian divine mirror is also recovering rapidly. When he broke through the Hunyuan realm before, his understanding rose sharply, which is a clear proof. After playing with it for a while, he put it away. For him, the Dian divine mirror is the most valuable treasure at the bottom of the box, and he will not use it easily. The next step is to stabilize the realm and break through the time path to the Hunyuan true immortal. Next, he finally understood why so many ancient great powers had already advanced to Hunyuan at the beginning of an era, but at the end of an era, they were no more than advanced Hunyuan true immortals. Cultivation in the Hunyuan realm is really too slow. Magic power is okay, the key is Taoism. When Su Junming passed through the Hunyuan tribulation, the time path was close to perfection, but it took him 5 million years to completely reach perfection. Later, it took another million years to completely break through to the realm of Hunyuan true immortal. This is still related to the Dian divine mirror assisting understanding, otherwise it will be even slower. What is more difficult to improve than Taoism is the physical body. For the physical body in the Hunyuan realm, every bit of progress takes thousands of years. Fortunately, after time Dao breaks through the realm of Hunyuan true immortal, he can slow down his own time flow by 1,000 times, otherwise it will only be even slower. Suddenly, he felt the Tiangong Taoist sitting down stop. Speaking of this, I have to mention one thing. The prehistoric world has a huge gravitational pull due to its huge mass and the fact that it absorbs the spiritual energy of chaos all the time. This gravitational force spreads and affects a distance that exceeds thousands of Hunyuan worlds. The radius is so wide, tens of thousands of poles. 1, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000, millions, tens of millions, billions, trillions, 10 to the 12th power, Jing, 10 to the 16th power, Gai, Zi, Rang, Ditch, Stream, Zheng, Zhe, Ji, 10 to the 48th power. This distance has completely exceeded the imagination of monks outside Hunyuan. Just like the 9 planets in the solar system, rotating around the sun. Everything within the radiation range of the prehistoric world is also revolving around it. Tiangong Taoist is also one of them. Now it suddenly begins to resist this radiation and simply stops. Tiangong, what's going on? Look ahead. An old voice sounded in my heart. Su Junming's heart moved. From his perspective, it was still pitch black. Compared with the powerful physical body of Tiangong Taoist Hunyuan Xianxian at the perfect level, he is still far behind, so naturally he cannot see as far as it can. Activate the Dian Divine Mirror, and your vision will increase 1,000 times. Soon, a huge rock appeared in front of us. The rock is oval in shape, with pits and pits on the surface, and no life at all can be seen. Its size is equivalent to 1/10 of the prehistoric continent, and is no less than the dojos opened in chaos by the saints like Hua Wangtian and Sumaishan. I don't know whether it is intentional or is affected by the gravity of the prehistoric world. It is flying rapidly towards the prehistoric world. Although it would take tens of millions of years to reach the edge of the prehistoric world, the direction should be correct. If that was all, he believed that Tiangong would not stop. He activated the Dian Divine Mirror and looked into the depths, with a look of surprise on his face. Tiangong, what is that? I don't know, but it's coming towards us. Sure enough, as if sensing their presence, the rock ball suddenly changed direction and flew towards them. The person who came here is evil. Are you coming or am I coming? Tiangong Taoist asked. I'll do it. I just broke through, so I can give it a try. With both hands making secrets, the time talisman in the Danshan shines. Time body. The past body, wearing a navy blue robe, came out of the body. With a gesture of his hand, the 17 Dushan god demonic flags were put into his bag, and he took one step forward and disappeared from his side in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already hundreds of millions of miles away. Make a mudra with your hands in the past body. The bridge of the void. A sky blue stone bridge folded into the endless void, and after a few ups and downs, it arrived in front of the stone ball. After getting really close, its shape could no longer be seen at all. Everywhere you looked were pitted and dead rocks. And they are all extremely hard chaos divine stones. This was the first time he had seen such a huge chaos divine stone. In chaos, chaos divine stone is the most common thing. It is really not a precious thing, unless it contains a treasure. After flying for a while on the surface of the huge rocky planet, we arrived at the top of a huge canyon. This canyon is so long that it occupies almost 1/3 of the rocky planet. The depth is almost invisible to the bottom. After a brief glance, he flew down. There is darkness in the chaos, and there is no light at all here. Standing on the sky blue void bridge, after a few flashes, we reached the bottom of the valley. Thanks to the book friend 8:30 for the 100 starting coin reward. Thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1051. The valley bottom is not flat, it is hundreds of billions of miles long and wide. There are no ugly monsters, but it is extremely flat, and there are traces of artificial excavation. There are obvious steps on the right side. Each step is thousands of feet high, like a giant staircase. After the 999 steps, there is a semi-open, temple-like building that goes deep into the mountain. The middle portal is 90,000 feet high and 120,000 feet wide. On both sides are two giant reliefs with a height of 150,000 feet, elephant heads and human bodies, holding swords in both hands. Su Junming controlled the Bridge of Void and flew in from the entrance. A magnificent starry sky world appeared before his eyes. A sacred path with a width of 30,000 feet under the feet passes through the void and stretches deeper, no one knows how far it is. Su Junming drove the Bridge of Void and slowly flew forward. Suddenly, the sound of he su su sounded in the surrounding darkness. At first it was still far away, but when it was heard again it was much closer. Soon you can see a black tide flying over from the depths of the starry sky. The buzzing sound of flapping wings vibrates the eardrums and beats the mind. When they got closer, they discovered that the so-called black tides were all 3-foot-long strange beasts with 6 pairs of wings on their backs, resembling ants, and their mouthparts flashed with cold light. I don't know how many billions there are, which is simply frightening. Looking at these unknown ants, Su Junming said secretly, "These things look like gold-eating ants from ancient times." Gold-eating ants are one of the most famous strange insects in ancient times. Their 6 pairs of wings allow them to fly extinct and at amazing speeds. With their hard mouthparts, Daloo Lingbao can be bitten by them in just a moment or 3. Hunyuan Lingbao is better, but it can't hold on for a long time. Because this strange insect can also swallow energy. Coupled with the characteristics of a strong body and no damage from swords, it is loved by many monks and is specially used to keep them in captivity and guard homes. Of course, gold-eating ants are not without their weaknesses. Their identity as scabies destined them to have weak souls. However, there are not many monks who major in the way of the soul. Unless you are unlucky enough to encounter it, this thing is easier to use than many Hunyuan spirit treasures. Moreover, after gold-eating ants are over 30,000 years old, they will form a little spiritual gold in their bodies. The longer the time goes by, the higher the value of this spiritual gold will be. The spiritual gold in the bellies of gold-eating ants that are more than tens of millions of years old can even be used to refine Hunyuan spiritual treasures. This is why they disappeared later. Like many ancient strange insects that could produce spiritual substances, they were killed by greedy monks. Looking at the size of these gold-eating ants, I am afraid they have survived for more than 10 UN. As soon as his heart moved, the azure space core jumped out. A ray of azure divine light spread down, covering tens of thousands of feet around the body. The gold-eating ants were extremely fast, and Su Junming rushed over without hesitation. However, these little guys suddenly disappeared when they were 3 feet away from Su Junming, as if they were swallowed up by something. Gold-eating ants have simple intelligence. Except for the queen, the other gold-eating ants will not become monsters no matter how long they live. Therefore, even if something unexpected happens, we will continue to fly towards Su Junming without hesitation. In an instant, within tens of thousands of feet, endless gold-eating ants formed a big black ball. But in a matter of seconds, hundreds of millions of gold-eating ants have disappeared. Suddenly, a strange fluctuation came from the depths of the starry sky. The besieging gold-eating ants suddenly paused, turned around and retreated into the distance. Want to run away? I won't allow you to take back what I like. There was a movement in my heart, and the azure divine light was like the rising sun, covering hundreds of millions of miles in radius. The divine light is instantly recovered. The sky full of gold-eating ants disappeared instantly. His consciousness looked at the gold-eating ants that were spinning aimlessly in the space gourd, unable to fly out, and nodded with satisfaction. He had no intention of killing all these little guys. A steady flow of water is the way to go. Feeling the direction from which the strange fluctuations came, he stepped on the bridge of void, and the next moment he came to a desolate planet. No, I shouldn't say desolate. There are also countless large and small gold-eating ants, entering and exiting along the stone caves all over the planet. Stomping his feet, a black space channel appeared in front of him. After flying in, a huge stone cave appeared in front of him. There are countless large and small passages connected around the cave, and at the bottom is a lotus-shaped warm jade with a diameter of several thousand feet. Su Junming has never seen such a huge Wenyu, and the abundant pure yang energy shows that it is at least the top spiritual material of the Hunyuan middle grade. On this warm jade lotus, lies a woman with the upper body of a human and the lower body of an ant, with a body that is thousands of feet long. She has long, jet black hair, fair and delicate skin, and a beautiful face, but judging from her appearance, she is one of the most beautiful women in the human race. But the ferocity in his eyes made people shudder. Jilagawala. He spoke a language that Su Junming couldn't understand. But from the look of her, it was definitely not a good thing to say. With a finger, the gourd in the space above his head shed a large amount of azure light. The gold-eating ant queen roared angrily, opened her mouth and sprayed out, and the overwhelming green turbidity rushed straight towards Su Junming. Wherever it passed, even the spiritual energy was corroded. What a powerful formic acid! However, space aura contains infinite space, and no matter how much formic acid there is, it cannot compare to the vastness of the space in the space gourd. Missing the blow, the queen ant's eyes lit up, and Su Junming instantly felt an extremely powerful spiritual force rushing straight towards his mind. With a movement in his heart, the soul gourd swung, and a thick layer of colorful divine light was shed, blocking the invading power of the soul. Although my magical power is good, I have also understood the way of the soul to the existence of Hunyuan. The azure light came in front of her like lightning. Sensing the threat, the queen transformed into a stream of light and prepared to flee. Suddenly, a magnificent bell rang. There was a pain in his head, and the gathered mana dissipated instantly. The azure divine light swarmed up, taking away all the Wenyu below. He reached out and made a move, and the dark golden metal, which was originally located under Wenyu and had a diameter of about 1,000 feet, slowly flew over. It fell into the palm of my hand and sank suddenly. The portion is really heavy. Although it is just a past body transformed by the great magical power of the Tao of Time, both the physical body and the magical power are the same as the original one. And considering his powerful body in the Hunyuan realm, it was still falling under pressure, which showed how heavy it was. The dense Zhengjin spiritual energy in it is stronger than the scepter that was previously obtained from demon god Mingkang and was made entirely of chaos iron. The gold-eating ant spirit gold is indeed worthy of its reputation. With a casual throw, a gourd flashing with 5-color divine light emerged from the void. The divine light rolled in and the spiritual gold was taken in. With this treasure, 5 elements gourd doesn't have to worry about not having enough nutrients before it can advance to the ultimate Hunyuan Lingbao. Seeing the gold-eating ants flying madly towards here with the intention of rescuing the queen, they smiled calmly and slowly disappeared. Coming outside the planet, the space gourd shines brightly. The vast azure divine light, like a tide, enveloped the entire planet, which was larger than the sun of the Chinese world, and then slowly shrank and fell into the space gourd. The gold-eating ants that had been included in it earlier saw the nest and flew over one after another. But the gold-eating ant queen was left alone by him. A mid-grade Hunyuan Lingbao level space gourd has a huge internal space, enough to accommodate the gold-eating ant queen. After doing this, the surrounding stars suddenly became flickering. Can't help it? As if to respond to him. Ouch! The earth-shattering roar came from afar. This wasn't the end yet, magnificent roars came from all directions. Su Junming did not stay where he was, he activated the bridge of void, folded the infinite space, and arrived at the top of a huge mountain like lightning. This mountain is huge, almost hundreds of times the size of the previous planet where gold-eating ants lived. The top of the mountain was flattened and turned into a vast platform. In the center of the platform, there is an archway millions of feet high. There are three strange characters engraved in the middle of the archway, which Su Junming has never seen before. He spread his left hand, revealing an ancient jade plate on one side of his palm. Open it and compare the two sides. It's exactly the same. He got this jade plate from the demon god Ming Kang. Over the years, he has only comprehended less than 100 of them. Its complexity is actually still higher than the ancient divine texts. Suddenly, huge footsteps came from behind. A demon god, 30 million feet tall, with 2 heads and 4 arms, the head of an animal and the body of a beast, but dragging a tail like a crocodile, strode over. The 2 arms in front hold magical weapons that look like knives but are extremely sharp. Judging from the aura revealed by it, this is a chaotic god and demon in the realm of Hunyuan celestial immortal. But he was not the only one. There were at least 300 similar chaos gods and demons around Su Junming. He was holding his sword across his sword, looking so menacing that even the true immortal Hunyuan would retreat when he saw this scene. Look at their slightly dull eyes. It just so happens that I am practicing the demonic banner of the heavenly god of blood, flesh, essence, and chi. You guys have brought it to me. Something moved in my heart. A colorful gourd rises into the sky. As Su Junming understood the way of the soul to Hunyuan, this soul gourd also became a low-grade Hunyuan spiritual treasure. With a slight tremor, the colorful gourd instantly turned into a giant bell measuring 100,000 feet. Boom! The sound of a yellow bell and a big bell is earth-shattering. The mighty sound waves swept hundreds of millions of miles. The chaos gods and demons who had been so aggressive before were suddenly struck by lightning. With a bang, the weapon fell to the ground. Su Junming pressed the space gourd, and the mighty azure divine light swept across the starry sky. When it dissipated, everything in the starry sky disappeared except for the giant peak in front of him. He smiled lightly, with a touch of satisfaction in his eyes. After he truly advanced to Hunyuan and made up for his shortcomings in mana, all of his magical powers and the power of Hunyuan Lingbao increased linearly. In the same realm, almost no one is his opponent. 300 chaos gods and demons are strong, but it's a pity. Shaking his head, he transformed into an escape light and flew straight towards the giant archway on the stone platform. The light flashed and quickly disappeared within it. When Su Junming appeared again, it was already a huge valley. Before he could recover, a vast spiritual light shot into the sky. Countless divine inscriptions flew from all directions, like chains, quickly wrapping around them. Su Junming retreated in a flash, but an invisible pressure suddenly came down. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1052. It was like an ancient giant mountain suddenly weighing on his shoulders. His body involuntarily slowed down, and chains quickly wrapped around him, quickly binding his hands and feet. The power of the seals dispersed, and the mana and blood in the body became sluggish. Boom! A hill flashing with mighty aura pressed down again. A mountain-like gravity made him unable to hold onto the light any longer, and he fell directly. More and more chains wrapped around him, soon trapping him all over his body and sealing the mana and blood in his body. Ha ha ha, let's see where you run away this time. With triumphant laughter, 2 guys appeared in front of them. The one on the left is 100 feet tall, with a body as thin as a hemp pole. On the long head, the ears, nose, and eyes are all fine, but the 2 eyes are not parallel, but vertical. There is a complex divine pattern between the eyebrows, exuding the sealed Taoist rhyme. Above its head, there is a 4-image array suspended. The one on the right is about 60 or 70 feet tall, fat as a drum, with a head like a yaksha and a tuft of yellow hair on the top of the mountain. There is also a divine pattern between his eyebrows, which reveals the mighty charm of earth. In his palm, he held a yellow hill. Thin people wear green robes, fat people wear yellow robes. The aura of both of them is that of the Hunyuan true immortal realm. However, he should have advanced to Hunyuan true immortal soon, and the mana in his body still fluctuates a bit. It's rare that you, a Hunyuan celestial immortal, can break through the blockade of those guys in front and reach the ceiling gods and heavens formation guarded by our two brothers, the thin man said proudly. If this kid can get here, he must have a lot of treasures. Let's, he. The fat man had a greedy look on his face. The thin man also showed approval. The two of them took a step forward and arrived at Su Junming's side in an instant. Boy, your baby is ours. As he spoke, he inserted his hand into the chain and touched the gourd on his waist. Su Junming had a sarcastic smile on his face. Idiot. The two were furious, and just as they were about to speak, their expressions suddenly changed, and a powerful binding force tightly wrapped around their arms. The two of them were also decisive people. They shouted angrily and used their magic power to punch Su Junming. The powerful force destroyed the mountains, but when they got close to Su Junming's head, a powerful barrier suddenly appeared. No matter how hard they tried, they could not move forward. When they realized something was wrong and wanted to escape with their souls, they found that their bodies were suddenly frozen by a powerful force. After Huawei finished speaking, their eyes widened instantly. People who were once trapped in chains suddenly disappeared. Su Junming held a fist-sized blue orb in his palm. Inside the bead was the fat and thin monk just now. This orb is the illusion god bead that he got from demon god Mingkang before. The top fantasy spiritual treasure of the nine-way Hunyuan spiritual forbidden. Not to mention the two monks who had just entered the Hunyuan true immortal, even the Hunyuan Xianxian would be attacked unpreparedly. In fact, everything the two saw was a scene imagined in their minds. Su Junming, who used the Dian mirror to see through all conspiracies, used this treasure early. With a change of finger tactics, the souls of the two men were directly pulled out of their bodies. Without the magic power as a support, and relying only on the power of the soul, there is no possibility for the two of them to struggle. With a wave of his hand, the sealing gourd took the two souls inside and went to keep company with the soul of demon god Mingkang. With Mingkang's Yuan Shen, with my current soul Dao cultivation, it is still difficult to search his soul, but it is much easier for these two people. There was a surge of expectation in his heart, and he wanted to find out the origin of those divine texts that he could not understand. Is there really another world similar to the prehistoric one? He shook his head and calmed down his unnecessary thoughts for the time being. Look towards the black cave at the end of the valley. The cave is 100 feet high and 30 feet wide, with images of elephant heads and human bodies still embossed on both sides. He activated the escape light and flew over. The moment he entered the cave entrance disappeared. In front of him is no longer an endless void world, but a cave with a diameter of tens of thousands of feet, smooth walls, a conical top, and flickering lights. Call. The heavy snoring shook the entire cave. Follow the sound. A figure lying on its side on the haystack appeared in his eyes. He has livid skin, black hair, and flabby muscles, like an old woman in her 60s or 70s. The hands, feet, torso, etc. are no different from ordinary humans. But his height reaches 1,000 feet. As if aware of Su Junming's arrival, the snoring suddenly stopped. He sat up with his back turned. He actually has no brain. It's really scary when viewed from behind. Another strong man is here. The voice was clear and crisp, like a girl in her 20s and 80s, full of temptation. But compared with this iron green and old body, it looks particularly weird. The hands are pointed together like swords. Pan Tuo Divine Sword. The extremely condensed blood-red sword energy was like a lightning bolt of 100 feet, reaching behind the opponent in an instant. Clang. The sound of fine iron sounded. A round mirror blocked his sword energy. The front of this mirror cannot be seen, but the back, which blocks his sword energy, is engraved with several mysterious purple divine patterns. Judging from its aura, it is also a middle-grade Hunyuan Lingbeo. What a ruthless husband! He screams and kills as soon as we meet. But it doesn't matter. I will serve you well and ensure that you enjoy the ultimate happiness in this world, hee hee. After a series of silver bells, the man turned around quickly. The strange scene made him frown instantly. But in the center of this man's broad chest was a woman's face, surrounded by thousands of eyes. It's downright ugly. Shua. All eyes were opened, and streaks of strange pink light shot straight towards Su Junming. In an instant, Su Junming felt dizzy and his limbs were weak, as if he was drunk. Mr. Lang, wake up. My good husband, come and have a drink. Lang Jun, how about we and our sisters accompany you tonight? The increasingly clear voices made Su Junming wake up. Looking around, he found that he was sitting in a gorgeous palace, surrounded by thin women and fat men. There were more than a dozen women playing the piano, playing the flute, beating their legs, or massaging their bodies, all making melodious sounds. Shaking his head, he felt as if he had forgotten many things. Mr. Lang. With a drawn-out tone, two boneless jade hands like spring onions slid downwards along the chest and abdomen, and then the head of an extremely beautiful woman, who looked like Chang'e in the Moon Palace, poked out from her armpits and was actually on her thighs. Beautiful eyes are flowing, fragrant cheeks are stained with spring, and the charm is infinite. Mr. Lang, tonight we sisters are all here for you to pick. Hee hee, Lang Jun, we are here. A pair of hands touched it. Su Junming was among them, and his eyes that were originally a little blurred instantly became clear. It turns out that this is what you are good at? Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1053. It turns out that this is what you are good at? The hand that touched it paused for a moment, but quickly recovered. Mr. Lang, come quickly, don't let the beautiful scenery live up to you. The words are charming, the jade legs are covered with gauze, the hands are smooth and concave and convex, and the end is infinitely charming. Su Junming smiled lightly. As soon as his heart moved, his body suddenly changed. His hair fell out quickly, his eyes became extremely large, his cheekbones were high, his nose was sunken, his mouth became wide, his body became thin, and a stench irritated his ears and nose, refer to Gudu in Lord of the Rings. The mouth was split open, revealing a mouth of big yellow teeth that exuded a sour smell. Beauty, come on. Ah! A short scream echoed throughout the cave. The so-called beauty retreated crazily. Go away, you ugly ghost, don't touch me. Su Junming was in mid-air, holding the phantom ball in his hand. He was secretly surprised as he watched the Ruyi body transformed by him, retreating crazily from torture, and the angry-looking monster. He just did this temporarily. He didn't expect that this monster is just ugly himself, but he thinks others are ugly. It's really hard to understand. He reached out and touched the phantom ball in his hand, which was enveloped by layers of psychedelic blue divine light. Suddenly, a bronze mirror flew out of the monster's body, and a powerful rose-colored light protected the entire body, while also blocking out the psychedelic aura of the phantom ball. With one palm shot, the tyrannical spiritual energy spread across 100 feet, beating the ugly ghost that Su Junming had transformed into a pulp. The face of the woman in the middle of the body is full of anger. All eyes were opened, staring at Su Junming in mid-air. I have good intentions, but you don't appreciate it, then go to hell. Thousands of eyes on the chest shoot out red divine light. It was filled with the scorching heat of molten iron. Wherever it passed, the space vibrated and black cracks were cut out. The power was so powerful that Su Junming did not dare to take it lightly. With a finger, the azure space gourd sprinkled down streaks of divine light. After the red light entered 3 feet in front of him, his speed instantly slowed down. The power of space. The female monster was startled, activated her divine eye, and shot out light continuously, but she was still unable to break through the numerous space barriers shed by the green gourd. Gritting his teeth. Hongchan wonderful mirror. The divine light of the bronze mirror above the head surged, hundreds of feet of red divine light, like a huge lightning, converging with the light of the divine eye, and struck the space barrier heavily. Boom! The powerful force instantly exceeded the bearing capacity of the space and shattered directly. The remaining red divine light struck that hateful bastard with great force. Seeing this, the female monster instantly became excited. The next moment, the smile froze on his face. After the guy's body was wiped out by his divine light, no trace of flesh and blood appeared. Instead, it flickered and turned into a blue bead about the size of a child's fist. My heart was shocked. Be cheated. Sudden. A big black hole appeared silently behind her, and a simple longsword flew over like lightning. The female monster, who was trying her best to kill the enemy in front of her, was immersed in excitement and hid in a hurry, but in the end she was still too slow. The screams echoed through the huge cave. Red blood flew out, and half of his body was cut off by the Pangu sword. Su Junming was unyielding when he gained power. Another black hole opens. The colorful soul gourd turned into a big black bell, and the earth-shattering sound of the bell swept across the entire cave with the strange power of soul falling. The next moment, the sealing gourd flew out, scattering a large amount of sealing light. Su Junming, who felt that it was not safe, directly activated the yin and yang gourd to turn into 2 mountains and press them down. With 3 natal magical powers in a row, not only the elbows and armpits were transformed, but also the body was seriously injured, making it impossible to escape. He was knocked stiff by the soul-destroying bell, and before he could react, he was sealed by the sealing divine light, and then the 2 mountains, black and white, pressed directly on him. Now I can't move at all. However, Su Junming was still worried. With a finger, the soul gourd turned into a mottled iron rope, stretched into the body of the female monster, and with a strong tug, a soul similar in appearance flew out. The physical body is separated from the soul, and the strength is instantly reduced. The soul gourd took away the soul, and the space gourd took away the physical body of the female monster. He stretched out his hand and the bronze mirror fell into his palm. As soon as I probed with my spiritual consciousness, the 6 paths of Hunyuan restriction came into my heart. No wonder it can compete with the illusion god pearl. It turns out it is also an illusion magic treasure. Hongchan Miaojing? If I didn't have many means, I'm afraid it wouldn't be that easy to take down this monster. Shaking his head slightly, he calmed down and looked around the cave. After examining it for a moment, I walked to the position where the female monster originally lay on her back. There was a complex array pattern here. The core is a triangle, the middle corresponds to the 5 elements, and the outermost part is the bagua. Obviously, this is a composite formation. Simply contemplate for a moment. A formation at the level of a Hunyuan celestial immortal. Of course he could break the formation with his ability, but Su Junming was too lazy to waste this time. After activating the Dian Divine Mirror to see clearly, he directly activated the Bridge of Void and hit it in the air. A black space channel the size of 2 fists slowly emerged. Opening up his left palm, a fist-sized, purple-colored bead flashing with lightning flew into the black hole on the left. With just a touch, the black hole disappears. After smiling slightly, he activated the void bridge and disappeared into the larger black hole on the right. When he reappeared, he was already above a valley. The high sun shines heavily with sunlight, the blue sky is filled with white clouds, the mountains on the earth are undulating, and the green flowers and trees are like undulating waves, stretching to the end of the sky and the earth. Several streams flowed from the mountains and merged into larger rivers, disappearing into the distance with an increasingly loud noise. This is a real world, a world at the heart of Chaos Rock. He took a step forward and came to the edge of a stream. An old man wearing a ge robe, with white beard and hair, and a bamboo hat on his head, was holding a fishing rod and sitting cross-legged on a bluestone near the river to fish. "Young man, it's not a good habit to not go through the main entrance." Su Junming stood in the air with his hands behind his back. "What's the main entrance?" "It's just a trap." The old man slowly raised his head and looked at him. There were ravines on his old face, and his eyes were actually green, which was daunting. "You are a sensible person. No wonder you were able to pass the previous levels. I understand, but you are really confused." The old man paused his hands and suddenly sighed. "If I hadn't been greedy at the beginning, I wouldn't have suffered such a disaster. It's really sad that hundreds of millions of years of practice have turned into flowing water." The conversation changed. "Since you can see the mystery of this place, why do you still come to this muddy water? Since you are here, of course you have something to fight for." "Oh, my old man thought the same thing as you at the beginning, but I didn't expect that in the end, I ended up here." With a slight lift of the boom, a crucian carp over a foot long was suddenly pulled out under the dazzling sunlight. Probably sensing the approach of death, the crucian carp struggled wildly, but the old man's right hand was as if it was made of pig iron and did not move at all. All the fish think they can be safe and get the bait from the fisherman's hands. Little do they know, that is just an illusion. "How can we know who is the fish and who is the fisherman until the last moment?" Su Junming said calmly. The old man glanced at him and said, "I haven't seen a young man as confident as you for a long time. I really miss him." Seeing that he didn't speak, the old man turned around and said, "I have been in the cage for a long time and have been praying for freedom for a long time, but I have been restrained by the monster and have been unable to escape. Meeting you today is also a great opportunity for me. I have no intention of doing anything that will please my relatives and my enemies. I just hope that after you kill me, you can reincarnate my soul and give me a chance to come back. The younger generation has always been kind and willing to help the seniors." After the old man nodded, he stretched out his hand to touch the center of his eyebrows, and a series of bright silver mist flew out. "This thing is my 3 souls and 7 souls, so I leave it to you. It's easy to say, this junior will personally send the senior's soul to reincarnation." "Haha, please. No thanks, no thanks." The two looked at each other for a moment, and the atmosphere was somewhat silent. "This is my soul. It is such an important thing. Don't you think you should step forward and take it with both hands?" "Senior, don't worry. This junior has collected tens of millions of souls since he started practicing Taoism, and he has never failed. Therefore, senior, please use your magic power to send them here. It will be okay." The old man's face trembled, and his eyes trembled with green light. Today's young people really don't know how to respect their seniors anymore. Why do today's seniors always think that young people are stupid? Just a few words of coaxing and you want young people to treat you as grandpa. To return 3 souls and 7 souls, that cultivator is willing to give his soul to an unrelated person? He is simply stupid. If you want to deceive people, at least find some better excuses, or make the story more complete. The old man didn't understand what the grandpa the other party meant, but he could clearly see the obvious mockery. A little Hunyuan celestial immortal is really brave. The tone was suddenly harsh, and with a tremor of his hands, the so-called 3 souls and 7 souls instantly turned into a black skull, and rushed towards Su Junming like lightning. Before it even approached, a strong rancid smell had already spread over me. As his heart moved, space barriers blocked him. The power of this black skull exceeded his imagination, and the space barrier seemed to melt when it touched it. What a strong feeling of death. Make seals with both hands. Burst. Boom. Earth-shaking roars came from deep underground. The next moment, the earth trembled, like a magnitude 12 earthquake. Rocks collapsed, trees broke, rivers changed their courses, and the world was destroyed. Ouch! The extremely overbearing roar was filled with anger, like a chaotic beast that had disturbed his sleep. You deserve to die. The old man spoke every word, his old face twisted, and his green eyes seemed to be able to spit out fire. With a flick of the fishing rod in his hand, the space shattered, as if teleporting, and he was in front of his eyes in the blink of an eye. As if he didn't see the fishing rod in front of him, Su Junming smiled faintly and disappeared in an instant. Dark green, devil-like eyes, staring at the figure in mid-air. You can't run away. Thanks to the book friend Zhong Hong Tian Xia for the 500 starting coin reward, thank you very much.